Good morning, traders. This is Perry. Welcome to StartupTrading.com. It is 4 minutes till 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, November 21st. So, just real quick, news and potential catalysts for today. Uh, there really aren't any, uh, in my opinion. So, take that for what it's worth. We do have a couple of talking heads back and forth. The one that they're gonna Goldsby's gonna be speaking at 12:25 with some audience questions. It's audience questions really that going, but it is a corporate partnership event, so I doubt if anything's really gonna be explosive out of that. And then we're gonna have Hammock at a financial stability conference. Hosted in Cleveland. Maybe I'll pop up there and see it. I know they'll miss me if I'm not there. Just kidding. Uh, and then that's it really. But after the bell last night, right, we had Nvidia and Snow really had a showing there as well. So and then before the bell we had Baidu and Deere. So as we look at Nvidia, right, it closed yesterday at basically 146. It's trading 148 right now. You can see the all-time high is basically 150, and you can bet your bottom dollar that there's a lot of gamma right sitting on this 150 level. So popping over it would potentially squeeze up at least for a few minutes, right? Maybe a few time cycles. Then we'd have to see if it can hold above 150. So, as Nvidia goes, I'm sure that'll help the markets. Or if it rejects that 150 and starts, fading back down, that'll also affect the market. So maybe have a in the corner of one of your screens, just have a little chart of NVIDIA up and pay attention to what it does around this 150 level. Uh, Looking back at yesterday's action, we did some repair. The Russell was a little bit stronger. It couldn't even get underneath the lower set of single prints, and then pop back up. The rest of them cleansed the single prints from the day before. Uh, and if we look at what that did to structure, we had basically salmon run trades for everything except for the Dow last night after the close. So what that means is that the bulls need to press it up above there, or they're going to face rotation down into value and for a check of value very low and potentially underneath of it. So we'll get into that in a minute. So looking at positioning real quick, there's nothing that really stands out for today on the Qs other than this 490. That would be a serious drop from where we're trading right now because that would be $15.50 from where we're trading. So that would be, over 600 points down from where we're trading right now. Um, if we would have to get weak pretty early going in the day, I think, to have a shot of that. We would have to be underneath yesterday's value area, the value area that we're looking at today, before the euro close for sure to even have a shot at that. So I, that's probably a very low probability unless, everything's setting up for the bulls pretty good. It would have to be a good pop and flop today. Looking at the SPY, very similar. The SPY is currently trading, let's just call it 592, and you got 575 down here is what you're looking at. So you would have to drop, you know, two times the max move that we've even had in the last month to print that. So that is not on the table either. That one's even farther off the table than it is for the Qs. Looking at the cash market, we closed at 59.17 yesterday. We were up 25 points basically. So let's just say that we're about 59.40, 59.42 is where we're currently trading. So 5,900, 59.50. So about 8 more points up. We'll hit that marker for today. And you can see there's not really any big markers for today. And then of course for the week, so maybe potentially another 58 points up than we're currently trading right now, which if we look at where the ES is right now, that would put us right around 6,020 on the future. So right around 6,020 probably is right around where that would be today. check your local listings as those as you get close there. Bring up the SPY or the Qs, and just kind of watch that out of the corner of your eye as well. So the corner of your eye is going to be busy today. So as we look at where we're at overnight, we could not get down to the point of control. So this point of control, this 58.99 quarter from yesterday, uh, that is going to be beneath the overnight low after the zigzag that we had overnight, and really we've just went straight up on the Nasdaq as we get into this. Uh, Coming off of those lows, we've just basically went up straight up 280 points almost right off of those overnight lows as they printed. And then we are, looking, we got that one time framing. And keep in mind, this is all these last few days. We're in a 3-day, 4-day bonds right now. If I were to turn off the extended session, I think it prints a little bit more clear of a picture as to what we're looking at. So you got 4 days down here, and now you're opening up above there. And then you've got a gap that comes in right at 20,950, let's call it, for the Nasdaq. That's where it closes. Uh, and then the scene of the crime started basically up here, uh, almost at this 21,169. It was actually 21,138, 137, 138 is where the scene of the crime was for the flush down when it started. And you can see, it started trickling a little bit before that, but then it picked up speed and accelerated then. Um, so basically, we've hit the bottom of balance. The top of the balance is up here. So what I really want to watch is I want to watch these the 61 eights on the retracement, the 78 sixes on the retracement, and the 50 and the 61 8 more on the ES to see if there's any participation or slowdown on stalls as we get up into those areas on the chart. So overnight action, 65.5 points for the ES. You can see that while we closed, and had those Sama run trades last night, we come back, we back down. We didn't even get to the point of control, right? And then, just as Jack would say, just a rocket ship up with just. If you look at the one time framing on the sequence on the 30 minutes, it's just been nothing but pain uh, for anyone who is bearish. There has been no opportunity to get your money back. Uh, every half hour has just been filled with regret. So that really sets up with that we've had this little liquidity sweep now. We had one to the downside and popped up. Now we're having one to the upside. We'll have to see if it holds. But you can see that there's not a lot of action in here, especially if I turn off the extended session here. You can see that, again, you've got that gap up to 59.65 basically that you want to see. And you can, almost see right here that this whole top, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days basically of balance up here that you're going to start tapping into. So, that 6,000, that 6,011, 6,020, all that right there should be interesting when we see a first test. So, what I'll be watching and focusing on tomorrow is uh, the bulls really need, in my opinion, they need a gap and go, meaning that you need to have uh, you could potentially get back to the settlement or where unchanged is because value is still significantly lower than that because we closed above value yesterday on everything except for the Russell, and the Russell, almost closed above value. It's right at value area high as well. So the bulls really need to hold this. I would say you can fish probably potentially for longs between the settlement and the point of control on each of these indexes, but I would be very cautious taking any longs after we had this nice move up overnight. uh, you should have a lot of overhead supply and a little bit more of a churn, especially the VIX is rising. That's my line in the sand. I'm bullish, uh, you know, interested in buying pullbacks on this aggressive run, but I'm watching for the pop and flop And to me, that's where you're going to get that shift. So right at 20,616 for the Nasdaq, and right at let's just call it 5,900 for the ES. That's right where things should go. And then you got value area low. So kind of sit on your hands. What you want to see is if there's a response down around value area low again, and then what you'd ideally like to see is it break through value area low, head toward yesterday's area low. And then I would actually start looking for short entries at that point in time with some micro time frame analysis, and to see if you hold can. And I would be using these points of control potentially as where I would be interested in trading against at that point in time. I hope this helps. But to the upside, you're looking at those markers. I think 6,000, 6,000. 20 for the ES is, where you're going to have a decision point. It could just stall up there and, flag in a tight, narrow spot. You got 20,140 also in the NASDAQ. Uh, and there's really, nothing up past that for today that I'd be, you know, too concerned with. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day. And remember, there's really not diddly squat. Watch that NVIDIA and that $150 level. If it breaches that, I think you're really good to be a little bit more aggressive on the Nasdaq and the ES, and you're going to have to watch one time framing on the Nvidia. If it breaks it, you want to start trailing aggressively your stops on ES and NQ, and or maybe just even flatten, uh, and then you sit on your hands for a few. I hope this